Yo, what is up, buddy? The Destructor Gaming Channel here, and today I got yourselves my first ever review, and of course it's going to be on NHL 23. So let's get into this. So when it comes to NHL 23, let's start with the looks, and I think, in my opinion, the game looks beautiful. It looks very good. It's definitely always been a strong suit in EA, especially ever since they got that fucking Frostbite engine in. So they always had good presentation. Like, graphics is never a problem, but again, I feel like we've just kind of seen the same old graphics. It hasn't really seen much of an improvement really in the last couple of years. So maybe a new art style would be nice, but that's just it. Let's get into like the gameplay. So the core gameplay of NHL 23 is, well, it's definitely a hockey game. It's what you're gonna expect from EA. They can definitely be fun, but it can also be really frustrating and tedious at some points. The overall skating definitely feels, I don't know, a bit stiff. I find, like, I don't know, like, I think it's just this engine that can really, like, I think like EA needs to get a new engine because skating, I always feel like I'm always just skating on slush. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I always feel like, no matter what I do, like a deke or a pass or anything. In terms of passing, I think it's actually been improved from previous years, which is a good thing. And some of the new features they actually tweaked and made it better, which have made this game a lot better than it has any right to be. Like the poke checking. Dear God, the poke checking. You can actually, like, not spam it 24/7. It's a welcome change of pace. They actually fixed that problem. And not to mention, checking's a lot more balanced now. And if you're actually someone more bigger, you can just actually like shrug off hits from like a fucking midget, unlike previous games. So the way I see it, EA did a W on this part. Like, those two parts, they made the game a lot better, and they added the new desperation pass shot, whatever you want to call it, to give you like a last chance or some shit. Welcome addition. I don't really ever use it myself, but it's a nice desperation move. It works, so nothing really to complain about that. That's just pretty much the basic gameplay. Alrighty, now let's get on to EA's favorite game mode because it's Hockey Ultimate Team, and like, it's hot. I mean, it's what you expect. They made some new changes, like in Hot Rush. There's like more. It's a lot more like difficult just to get the rewards. They made it like fucking the points is like up to like a millions and shit, and it's like fucking crazy. So I'm like, whatever. But even then, Hot Rush is still the same crap as it was the previous year. So what else is to say? Like, they still have the same old game, like, stuff you can do in Hut, like fucking, oh, play like squad battles and shit, the Hut champions, the rivals. Like, it's all the same stuff. Like, I don't know why they didn't got rid of the divisions. You remember when EA had the Hut divisions, like, you go from Div 10 to Div 1? Yeah, that's great stuff. Like, I love if they would just bring that back, but they probably won't. So yeah. And they still have a lot of the Hut sets. Like, there's not much to say about Hockey Ultimate Team in general. Like, in terms of what you can do, it's the same shit. Now, actually playing it, well, it's definitely a lot different. It's definitely the what you expected. Certain cheese goals go in, like, the type of shit. And I noticed that, like, a lot of random goals just keep going in. I had like goals that just like, from like shitty angles, just don't trickle in, or fucking they just trickle through 5 holes, or ridiculous bounces. Yet these are the same guys that can fucking like make the greatest like glove save, like robbing one timers, all that shit. Like, the most ways you're gonna score is by fucking like, honestly, it's just by like tip-ins, rebounds, and just like, making sure you get the blatant 1D. Like, that's pretty much Hut in a nutshell when you look at it. Like, I don't fucking know what to say. It's annoying at sometimes, but it's Hut, so yeah. Now let's talk about the best game mode in this game, mode called Chell. World of Chell, like, I love it. Chell is great. Like, I can't really, like, shit on Chell. Like, you can, like, shit on the rest of the game, but there's one game mode that's always worth playing in my books. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you find, like, a group of friends, you start playing against a lot of people, it's very fun and competitive, and you can definitely feel like you're playing, like, a hockey game and stuff. You like make strategies. It's a lot of fun. Like, gameplay wise, you don't need to fucking ever change Chell ever. You can literally run with the same shit forever, and it's been proven they've done that since NHL '09. So like, Chell has been proven to be the most timely lasted game mode of all of NHL games. It's fucking great. Like, playing with like your friends against other people around the world, trying to compete to see that you're the best. Now, the only complaint I would have for Chell is more so for practice. Like, motherfucker, can like EA, can you give us like more customization and range to do our practices? Because at least from my chill squad, sometimes we do practices to kind of go over some things and just kind of get us warmed up and just like, if we start playing bad, we start just kind of like, okay, let's get back to the drawing board. Let us like do more ranges, like say fucking like I don't know, like a 2v2 type thing, like pick out who's the who you want to do for the strategies. That way it'd be a lot easier instead of like when you try to do it, it's considering you're all on the same team, it's like you just kind of like accidentally bump into each other. It's like it's very frustrating. Like you need to give like chill practice some fucking life. Okay, that's the one thing you should improve on. And like lay off on the cosmetics. Nobody uses those cosmetics. Like who cares? So like really just keep chill the way it is. Really just change up the practice. That's really all I have to say personally. GM mode is look, I did a reaction like video thing to what the GM mode's gonna be all about. I mean, it's fine. I like the improvements, but the biggest problem is the sim engine. It feels way too fucking random. Like I tried doing GM mode and like the Coyotes made the fucking playoffs, even though they're like garbage. It's like Jesus Christ, EA, can you fix that? Like I don't know. Like there's not much to say about GM mode. It's the same shit. Just I give you more customization. How much teams you want to put in. It's nice, but it's not whatever. I mean, what else to say? Also, speaking of goalies, quickly, my God, goalies. Now, granted, they have fixed goalies in some ways because in like previous games, you can just get like an easy 1T and it goes in. Now, 1T still go in and cross creases, but they're like not as like frequent as they used to be. It's not NHL 13 levels of terrible where it's ridiculous. They're not Spider-Man quite, but they're getting close to it. Like the glove saves and like 1Ts, they've improved drastically, and they should keep it that way. Now, in terms of actually other ways to save, yeah, no. Like, they'll make a great save, and like I alluded to earlier, they'll fucking like let in the most weak-ass goal possible. Like, it doesn't matter what game mode you played versus, Chell, if you have to do with computer goalies, or like, Hockey Ultimate Team. Like, it's just so random. The goal is too random. It doesn't matter which goal it is. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the saves, they can go all over the place. It's fucking crazy. It's like, there's no consistency. Like, it's a step in the right direction, I think, but like, even then, you still went some steps back, because that's what you always do with these games. And speaking of AI, I mean, it's the AI. There's ways you can always abuse them. Like when you win the face-off, you can just skate right between the D-man, and it can just start going in. Like I don't like. There's not much to say about the computers. Like the only real noticeable improvement is like in Chell with like the forward sometimes, but even then, that's sometimes. Like I don't. There's not much for me to say about the AI. They're the same fucking retard AI that they always been. Like fuck. And honestly, I just have to talk about this. The biggest crime with this game is really there's just not much difference. Like it's literally like, again, it feels a lot like NHL 22, but like better in some ways and then worse in some ways. I mean, for God's sakes, NHL 23 is getting a lot of crap on from like a lot of people who playing it. And I don't blame them, because I can definitely see why, because this game is really fucking frustrating. You can have fun with this game, sure, but it's also really frustrating when like ridiculous shit like goes in when it really shouldn't be. Or like the sweaty tryhards, like they just try to like be so sweaty, going spin, 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 like bullshit. Like there's that shit, but like generally like the core game, it's just like, okay, we've seen this all before. Like there isn't really much to say. I think EA needs to go back to the drawing board. Like, I think for EA, they should just copy what Activision should do. Get 3 different studio companies to make their hockey games every year. Like, just have kind of like how Call of Duty does that shit. That way you can just keep those games fresh, and you can also have like, I don't know, some variety and shit. I don't fucking know. It's just a random idea, but like it's something, because like you're seeing like the blatant burnout of EA. I mean, it's no secret that EA hasn't really been trying all that much with these hockey games since NHL 15, which is the beginning of the end. So it really does show you what EA is like doing. Like they just don't care. Like they just stopped trying, really. And like you can say, oh, Hockey Ultimate Team, but like even then they were still trying when Hockey Ultimate Team was around since like 11. There's like 12, 13, and 14 along with that. So it's not like they weren't trying. It's just, I don't know. I guess like they either probably realized, oh, hype, you can just make as much money as you can with it, which has worked, or they don't care. Like I think they're just burnt out. It shows. And really, that's why I'm gonna just give this game a 5 out of 10. it's mediocre. Like, yeah, it can be fun, but at the same time, it's just still has the same frustrating problems that the last fucking handful of games have. Like, I don't know. Like, that's just how my opinion of it is. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this review. Take care, and of course, God bless you all.